Head coach Paul Chryst is here. We'll have some opening comments, then take questions.
We've got a great challenge ahead of us, going down to a classic football venue. And one thing that I've, ever since the end of the game, just more and more I'm around this team and these guys. I enjoy and appreciate them. We had a lot of guys around the office yesterday. We're excited to get back to practice and get on the field, and I like the way the guys are right now, and that you're always thankful as a coach, and especially when you go through tough times, you find out a lot about yourself, each other, and really appreciate this group. And so excited to get going. I know everyone was released, about Joe Schobert and his award, and the one thing that I've been asked a lot about him, and the thing that amazes me is not just his stat line, but how he does it in big moments, and how he goes about day in and day out. And yet he's also the first one that knows that there's 10 other guys each defensive snap, and I love what he's doing for us on special teams, but there's a lot of guys that help it, but he's not just an effort guy. He's got some real talent, and it's been fun to see, but this is a good group, and we gotta have a great week, and like I said, get to go play a good Nebraska team and in a great atmosphere.
Paul, Joel was talking to us earlier and said that you and he sat down and looked over the tape of the game, and I think you mentioned after the game too, it's never just the quarterback or one player, it's 11 guys have to own it. What were some of the things you saw when you studied the tape, whether it's breakdowns, missed assignments, that prevented the offense from putting more points on the board, being more efficient?
Yeah, certainly, we didn't finish drives. I thought that, we put some drives. We had we had an early 3 and out, but we put some drives together. But whether it's not getting the third down conversion, or we're just missing on some plays. I think there's a handful that could be big plays, and it changes. And that's the one thing that we talk to our players about. And the game's a great game. It teaches you a ton. And, we always talk about how you got to play each play. And you don't know which play will be the one that you look back and say that made a difference. And there's also the emotional part of it, that when things aren't going well, how you just got to keep playing, and that it'll – you got to get momentum back on your side. And the way you do that is playing within yourself, but you got to make plays. We talked about all the time, we talk about giving yourself a chance to have a chance. But once you have that chance, you got to take advantage of that opportunity, and we just missed out on it. Whether it's, quarterback, receiver, whether it's just missing, a run-through linebacker or safety, and getting around the edge. Everyone's got their – another thing I love about the game of football is, everyone has to own it. You have to own, and I as a coach, and we got to do a better job of continuing to help coach our guys and help them grow. And we get that opportunity this week, and that's what's fun, and with a group that wants to get better, a group that wants to be coached, and that is something I appreciate from this team.
You mentioned Joe's performance. He and Vince led the team in tackles. What, in your opinion, makes them a special combination at outside linebacker? And have you noticed that their personalities are pretty different? Are they pretty different people off the field?
I never recognized that at all about their personalities. I'll look for that, though. But it's, I think they're good players, and I think they love playing the game. And I think that's what I think they've got enough skill, talent. And then I think they're smart football players, and then I think they love playing. And I think their difference in personalities they're both who they are, and that's what you love about them. Like, they're truly both who they are, and I've loved getting to know them.
Eric?
Going back to when you were a coordinator here, you coached some of the best offensive linemen ever as far as the groups were concerned. Whatever made those groups special, does this group of offensive linemen have those attributes that you think will allow them to play up to that level of those groups from the past?
Yeah, I think we've got some guys that can be really good football players, and I think the attributes that many of those I think that you're referring to, they loved the game, they worked, and they drove each other and to get better. And I see that in a number of our young offensive linemen. Now it takes time, and some of these guys are getting some great experience, and then what they do with those experiences and how they learn from them, what that does to fuel them to continue to go. That's our job, to help them. As a coach, all you want to do is you want guys to maximize their potential. And I think it's unfair to try to label them any other way. And I think that the beautiful thing about this play, especially, I think what helped was when you play with guys and you see that it's just a guy, that it's hard to say Joe Thomas is just a guy, right? Or Travis Frederick or Gabe, but they are, they're going to make mistakes. I think that also gives you confidence. And so I think we got some guys that want to be good, and they're working towards it, and our job is to find ways to help them to continue to be the best they can be. But I think we got some. I don't know yet, right? Time will tell.
Jay?
Is it tough to coach against a good friend like Mike Riley, or can you separate all that?
I think for me personally, with Mike, it's not, and I think that I probably I don't know if I learned it or it was reinforced to me by being with Mike. The game's not about us, and I made this. It would be hard to coach against players you coached. I thought what Durante went through the other week would be harder because, I'm proud to be a coach, and I learned a ton from Mike, but I think one of the things that we both have in common is the game is, we respect the game and truly respect those that play it, and our job is to help them play it. So I don't feel like it's me against Mike. It's not. I don't think it will be.
Jesse?
To kind of piggyback off that question, he's gotten off to a tough start at Nebraska. Just from what you know about Mike, how do you think he is handling or will handle a spot like that where, Nebraska fans are obviously pretty passionate about their program there?
They are, and we've got passionate fans, and you love that, and that's what makes college football great. But no one's going to put more pressure on themselves. The most pressure I feel is from me. I think the most pressure, I don't want to speak for Mike, but I know I've been around him, and it's just that we're doing our job, and our job is to coach the players we have and help them grow and develop. And so Mike's at his best when people might think that it's hard times.
Jason?
Well, I noticed Austin Traylor's not on the depth chart this week. How long do you expect him to be out?
Austin, we'll find out. He's getting a procedure done today, and so we'll find out more today. The thing that is disappointing to me is that Austin was really playing good football. I think his best, and Joel actually mentioned it to me the other day, and how he's having fun and was playing, and he'll be out this week, and we'll find out how much more after that. But those are opportunities he won't get back, But we'll find out more. What I'm told is after the procedure.
Paul, you're pretty thin at that position as it was. Does it handcuff you at all? Knowing how much you like to utilize tight ends, does that handcuff you at all?
I mean, I think it's helped that, Steph was injured, or Fum, was injured. Steph was injured earlier, so we didn't build. If all three had been healthy at one time, you start building everything around that, I think it would be harder than. I don't think Steph was hurt early, then Fum, now Austin. So I think that we'll be fine. I'm not saying we're not going to miss Austin. I mean, he's a guy that you like having on your team and playing, but we don't have all those three tight end sets in.
John.
The defense was able to get contributions from like 20-plus guys in a game that was contested to the very end.
Right.
How much does that contribute, the ability to trust them and for them to be fresh to the success the defense is having?
I think it has something to do with it. I think that, you see that across the board. Defensively, I think in the D line, for instance, I think guys know that they can go hard, and there's other guys that will be coming in, so you can put out there. Even, Jack Sitchie, is playing. We talked about Shobes earlier, but so Shobes can get a little bit of breather. I also think it's not all bad sometimes just to be able to step back and see the game, just for a little bit. But guys earn the opportunity to be on the field and play, and that you like. And I think you're always better if you have more. I think you start to build some depth then with it. It's been good, I think.
Kind of off topic a little bit. Andrew Endicott did not kick last week. Is he available for kickoffs this week, or what's his status?
I think he will be. We'll see. We'll see how this week goes for him. But that was part of the thought was, can he would some time off hopefully help, and so we believe that he will.
When one side of the ball has success, is there a certain degree of competitiveness where if the defense is playing really well, the offensive guys are motivated by that and saying, man, we better pick up the slack, and vice versa?
I think what drives that when one is having success or not, I think it's really what you feel about your team, and I think that there's moments, and I've been on teams, the good teams I've been on, where if one's struggling, then you step up your own game because that's what the team needs. And I think that this group, and that's why I like this group right now, is that they're all they want what's best for the team. And I didn't get any sense of finger pointing. I didn't get any sense of other than what do we got to do to go win and play and give ourselves a chance. And so I don't think it's guys know that. They don't need to have success or something on the other end to not try to do their best. These guys put so much time into this, and they care, and they want to be held responsible, and they want to be a positive producers to this team. I don't know if I'm answering your question. I don't think I am. I'm not trying to be like Bo, but I am trying to be like him in a lot of ways, but not in that. I could go on this for a while. This is how it happens.
We'll just move on.
You act like you've been to a few of those.
Nebraska had been averaging over 30 points per game. What did Illinois do last week to shut them down for the most part?
I think that they made some plays, and I think, Nebraska just missed on some opportunities. And so they're certainly capable. You can see it, and they're capable. I think they've got a lot of different weapons. And so, but I think they just, you gotta make plays when they're presented, and I think that they would be the first to say that they had some opportunities and they just missed on them.
Jim.
Paul, how often do you and Jeep touch base during the season? I'm just curious, after a weekend like this where obviously things don't go the way, if you make a point to reach out to one another.
This weekend we're not reaching out to many things. It's been harder since he's been on the West Coast, and so we message more than we do talk. We'll find times, and usually it's late at night. But then they had their schedule's been off, so we haven't found that rhythm yet. But we'll definitely always message each other, and I don't think either one of us can help each other right now. You're just into your world, and I know that he's supporting me, and he knows that from me, and that's about it. I had the game on the radio, but I didn't see any of it.
Paul, do you have an update on Alex Erickson and where he is in the concussion protocol?
He is in the concussion protocol. Talking to him yesterday, feels better. So we'll find out. But that's exactly it.
Anything else for Coach? Oh, Jeff.
I know you're not going to answer this, but I'll ask anyway. Did you contact the Big Ten office about the play on Fumagalli for clarification on the possible targeting call? Did you get any feedback?
We're clear on the. I know we can coach our guys on that, and so no. Why would you ask? You're that guy.
Rob wants to be that guy too.
Follow that up. Obviously, you spend a lot of time breaking down tape, working on game plans and all those things. But as a coaching staff, and especially as a head coach, how much time and what extra means do you take to working on things such as clock management, things like that come down end of halves, end of games, where you and the other coaches have to make decisions on what to do?
I think you're always trying to. It's one of the reasons I like watching games or with the film. You always make sure you go through it because there's so many different scenarios that can come up, and even one little thing can change the whole dynamic of it. So you're thinking. Been in those situations before where you're thinking one thing and then all of a sudden an injury. So you're forced to use a timeout or. And like yesterday there was one, I just caught the tail end of it on the, it was the Saints-Cowboys game, and they had an injury, and the guy comes off, and they're subbing guys on. There's always different scenarios. I thought even just was I was just doing some scripting, so I had it on the background, and just some different dynamics when Jason was using his timeouts. And I think you're always trying to inform yourself and go through that. It was one thing that was helpful to me early in my coaching career is when I was up in Canada and I was in charge of special teams. And there's so many different, it was impressed upon me early that you always have to go through situations, you talk it. It's one of the things I like doing with the quarterbacks, and Joel just always talking situations, and because it's a lot of help when your quarterback or someone there has an idea of what you can do, and it's also refreshing. It's to see how much thought our players put into it. So we'll always try to talk it and hope that you're as prepared and your players are as well prepared for those end of the game situations, end of the half, whatever those situations may be.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.